Without question, Roe versus Wade is one of the most controversial decisions.
It's a case, but it's also a symbol. It's the only Supreme Court case that most Americans can cite by name.
In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortions.
Roe was interesting because it did articulate the right to abortion as a fundamental right. What the court was saying there was this is on par with other sorts of fundamental rights. The right to marry, the right to procreate, the right to take care of one's children.
The court split 7-2 with Justices Byron White and William Rehnquist dissenting. The 9 justices made abortion largely a private matter.
January 22nd, 1973 would be an historic day.
This was a very compelling film of the history of Roe v. Wade. This film does an excellent job of explaining in several parts the history of how Roe v. Wade came to be. Also, lots of fascinating footage of protests over the years. It was so interesting to hear about the progression of allowing for contraception in married couples to single people, leading to legal abortion in the States, given the concept of privacy. Lots of articulate comments and various opinions by a selection of law professors about this landmark case. Excellent work.
This documentary takes such an intelligent examination on the landmark case for abortion in the United States. The interviews throughout give an in-depth, complex, but so important understanding of how the case evolved over time, the surrounding cases that accompanied it during the time, and the justices who heard the case, as well as those who tried it, who were in defense of it. The Roe continues to be something incredibly controversial in this country, but incredibly important to so many, and particularly so many women in the United States. And I think that documentaries such as this one emphasize that importance.
I'm so happy that this got made. I've never seen a short film or documentary about Roe versus Wade before. I'm sure they're out there. I've just never seen one. And this was made so well. The writing is so fantastic. The structure of it is beautiful and very easy to follow. I love the categories, especially about the privacy. The privacy category was really fascinating to me. I learned a great deal about the strictness and stringency of the abortion laws in Texas, and just all about all of this in general. I mean, I knew stuff about it, but like you can see my eyes are bulging because just my eyes have been opened. I learned so many new things today that I didn't know about before. So thank you for making this film. Also, thank you for shooting it so beautifully, having such incredible experts to talk about it, and such differing views from these experts, opposing points, really made it balanced. And I really, really loved just all the history. I really learned so much. So thank you for the direction, for the writing, for the way it was shot, and for who you shot and interviewed. It's beautiful. Congratulations.
It was so good. It was so informative, and I learned a lot about this case that I didn't know prior. Of course, everybody, I would hope, knows what Roe v. Wade is because it is such an important bill that was passed. But it was really interesting learning about how it was able to kind of be built on top of other bills that allowed it to become possible. In particular, with rights to privacy and where privacy applies to married couples should also apply to single people. And therefore, there's kind of this tracking of understanding, and it all just builds on one another. So I thought that was absolutely fascinating. And I mean, quite a radical bill for the time that it was happening. And I mean, even now it's so intensely contested. So just really wonderful to kind of hear how it came to be, and getting to hear from different professionals and lawyers and experts on the details behind this. So I thought it was really informative, very, very interesting, and I thought that the visuals were great too. Just really helped to round out the story and create a full picture. I thought this was very, very well done.
This was really educational to go and see and really find out factually how all of this had started. And listening to the interviews that they had, everything was, I think it was balanced really well and it was paced really well. So props to the editor and also the cinematographer and the director, because the shots that they did and also the way that they did it, I thought that it was very ingenious to go ahead and use that 8mm film strip. In a lot of areas, you had the sound effect of the old projectors that was going on, that just all of these beautiful little touches that they added to this film that helped give it so much depth and not only make it educational, but make it a piece of art as well. So I thought that this was really well done. And, you know, how the start of how abortion was legalized and the Privacy Act that was going on. I thought that, yeah, this was fascinating.
Such an important movie and, you know, very educational, and I thought really well done, just with all the different people that were speaking and the timeline, I think really helped, you know, organize everything. But yeah, you know, it's such a relevant topic today. You know, it sucks with everything that's going on in the world. But yeah, I feel like everyone needs to watch this and just get educated. And so I really applaud the filmmakers for setting out to make this.
As a woman especially, everybody, I don't even remember when I first learned about Roe versus Wade. I don't think it was in school, to be honest. I just remember learning what it was and why it was so important. To me, especially as a girl at the time, as a woman. And I think that a lot of the times it gets referenced so often and it gets talked about, but we don't often hear the history of how it actually happened. We just hear the facts of what happened, what the decision was, what it meant, but we don't actually hear the history of kind of how it came to be. So learning the rest of that was really, really interesting. And I think that I think one of them said, like, it continues to be a discussion even, you know, years and years and years, decades later. And I think it is still really important. It is still something to be discussed. It is still something that we should all be educated about. And I really enjoyed learning the history of it. I thought it was really interesting that it did get argued twice, that, you know, everything kind of fell into place to have it re-argued again, and how things changed between the first and the second one. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really, really interesting and educational to watch.